Welcome to Real Tech with WEI. I'm Chris Lassard, Director of Business Development, and today we have Dave Fafel, our Chief Architect. And today's topic, MDM, Mobile Device Management. Dave, what is MDM and what does it mean in the workplace?
Well, mobile device management is really the ability to start to control and push policies to and get visibility into all of the devices that an organization is responsible for. So in a typical enterprise environment, you've got employees running around with laptops and tablets and phones and other devices, all accessing corporate resources. And in many cases with no real security or policy around how that content or how those resources are accessed and managed and actually used out in the world.
Got it. A recent IDG survey stated that 52% of companies are worried that their employees are not following the security policies. How can organizations wrap their arms around this?
Well, MDMs is certainly one of the ways that they can do that. By enforcing security policies, by limiting access to specific types of data or other content. With MDMs, you can push out those policies based on user roles, user types, device types, and get your arm around who's accessing the network, who's accessing certain types of data, and then manipulate and change that as the business demands.
Speaking of devices, Android, Apple, tablets, laptops, printers, what's included here, what's not included?
Almost all of them are included these days. So whether it's a laptop, tablet, a phone, it doesn't matter if it's a mobile scanner in your distribution warehouse or if it's a point of sale device in a retail environment. All of those can be managed through MDMs today. And there's a number of different MDMs out there to choose from. There are MDMs which are all-encompassing, will support almost all of those environments. And then there are some which are more focused. I can think of one, for instance, in the Apple world. If you've got a fleet of MacBooks in your environment, the Jamf Pro suite of tools is Apple focused, and they only support the Apple environment. However, other enterprise solutions like AirWatch, owned by VMware, by the way, can support almost all of the platforms that you just described.
Got it. In today's day and age, how do companies utilize MDM to protect themselves from something like a security breach?
Yeah, absolutely. So MDMs, again, through the ability to issue a policy down to devices, can be dynamic. We can change those policies on the fly. So if we know that there is a particular vulnerability in a certain application, we can go and update that application with a patch applied to it to everybody that's under the MDM management. Additionally, if an employee leaves or if a device leaves a specific area, we can use tools like geofencing through the use of those policies to immediately wipe out those devices before they actually leave the network or leave the environment that they're not supposed to leave.
Great. And how does an organization start to understand whether or not their environment is ready for that framework?
Well, you really have to ask yourself, how are you controlling access to content, access to the network, and what devices are prevalent in your environment? Almost every organization these days has users who are using their own devices, corporate issued devices, and so understanding how you want access to the network, access to content to be controlled and managed is the first step.
Great. Thanks, Dave, for joining us today. That's been Real Tech with WEI. We'll see you next time.